Hello there. I'm going to be working on we're going to go through a quick video called Joining Windows Computer to Active Directory. So basically I have a Windows 10 VM or virtual machine running in the Azure environment. I'm going to go ahead and install it, um, join it to an Active Directory domain. So as you can see here, this is the interface or the desktop for the Windows 10 computer. So there's several ways to get to the properties page of Windows 10. One thing you can do, the quickest and easiest way is just to type in computer, and then you're going to get a bunch of different options that show up. So if you right click and go to properties, this PC, then it's going to pull up the properties pane as well. So once we get to this section, there's a section that's called computer name, domain, and workgroup settings. So we're going to want to click on that, the change settings link, and then computer name tab is the first one. So you can see here to rename this computer or change this domain, click change. So we're going to go ahead and click this. So I've already got the name of the PC, so we're not going to fool with that. But if you actually wanted to rename your PC, you could do that here. You can click the more button and you can add a DNS suffix. So if you were in a domain called, let's just say contosos.com, and that's different than what your domain is, you could add that so then you wouldn't have to type in the fully qualified domain name. So, but we're not going to worry about that. So what we're going to do, we're going to check the member of domain. So, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in contoso.com because that's my test environment, my test domain. So it's going to error out here, and we'll walk through why. So once I hit enter, we're going to get this nice fun red X. And the reason why that is because this computer's DNS server that it's assigned to does not know how to resolve the domain controller I'm looking for. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and hit OK here, cancel. So I'm going to go ahead and get into a command prompt, and I'm going to, because I want to get the full IP configuration. So as you can see here, the IP assigned to this computer is 10.0.0.6 with a subnet mask of 255.255.0, which is a /24, and then the default gateway. So what I'm looking for right now is this information. So I'm going to type in snipping tool, which at some point Microsoft's getting rid of the snipping tool and it's going to be the snip and sketch, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick snip here so I can get the information. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to change the IPv4 the settings on the network adapter for IPv4. So I'm going to go ahead and go to properties, and then we're going to go ahead and select IPv4. So right now it's pulling IP information, address information automatically from what's called a DHCP server, Dynamic Host Control Protocol. I'm going to go ahead and change it. I'm just going to statically set all of it. So 10.0.0.6, we're going to go 255.255.255.0, default gateway 01. So here I'm going to actually put the IP address of the DNS/domain controller that I have, which is 10.0.0.4, and then in order to make sure Azure stays happy, I'm going to add in as a secondary 168.63, 129.16, and then go ahead and click OK. And at this point, it's going to change the IP configuration. Okay, so now that I've got the IP configuration changed, and I've got my domain controller / DNS server as a DNS server. I can go ahead and close out of that. And so now if I come back into, let's go ahead and close out these windows. If I come back into the properties page, I can hit the change settings button again, change, and then we'll go back to domain, and we can just type in contoso.com, hit enter. So now I get a command prompt. So it queried DNS, looked for the Active Directory, SRV, service records, and it found everything that it needed. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the permissions for, I'm going to add in the username and password for the domain administrator for the Contoso domain. Okay, once I do that and hit OK, then hit O. Once it's going to give me a little prompt. So now I've joined the computer to the Contoso domain. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and then part of that I'm going to have to finish up and do a reboot, and that's it. It's quick and easy to join a computer or a PC to an Active Directory domain. So I'm going to hit restart, and that's it. Alright, so now I'm back in the PC after it completed the reboot cycle. So now if I come back to properties, so now you'll see computer name winpc.01, full computer name. It appends the .contoso.com, and then you can see the contoso.com domain under the domain. Another thing you can also, once you join it to a domain, you'll notice if you look under computer management, local users and groups, you will now see under the administrator, the local administrators group, Contoso domain admins is added to the administrator, and that gives the ability for domain admins to manage all computers within that specific Active Directory domain. So now I'm over here on my domain controller in the contoso.com domain, and as you can see, if you look under the computers folder, now you see a new computer object called WinPC01. And then you can do various, you can set descriptions, you can see what kind of operating system it is, you can set locations, managed by, there's other things. You can disable the account, and then the account won't be able to authenticate to the domain. You can manage it, so basically open the computer management console from that PC, as long as there's no firewalls or anything like that that could potentially be blocking remote management. So that's it for this quick tutorial on joining Windows Computer to Active Directory domain.